Hello people, this is Mark from Kharischangeworks. Guys, I hope that you are well. In today's little short story, it is the battle between two evils, or two goods even, or a good and evil. Depends on how you want to look at it. This of course is a story that we as people face every single day. It's a battle we experience. And yet sometimes we wonder why we get the results in the world in the manner that we do. It's all about choosing which one to feed. Before we get there, can I just please ask you just to do all the YouTube admin, the old thumbs up, share, subscribe, comment, hit the bell, pick all. Please tell all your friends and family about this channel. It's rich in information. Let's get to the little story and let's see what we can learn from this one today. It's just simply called The Battle Within. An old Cherokee describes an experience going on inside of himself. It is a terrible fight, and it is between two wolves. One is evil, he is anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, self-pride, superiority, and the ego. The other is good. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion and faith. This same fight is going on inside of you and inside of every other person also. The grandson thought about it for a minute and then asked his grandfather, "Which wolf will win?" The old Cherokee simply replied, "The one you feed." And my friend, that is a very true story. Whether it be factual in terms of it actually happening, I don't know. But in terms of metaphor, it is true. You see, in the world there's good and then there's evil. There's this constant battle for dominance and control. In many ways it's very narcissistic in its attitude, this fight between these two evil entities. And in the world, as I see it, I see good and I see evil constantly arguing with each other, trying to persuade and trying to dominate. And it nearly seems to me that anybody that is trying to do good is seemingly bombarded by ridicule, being harassed, being limited. And the people who are out there for evil, they're the ones that get promoted. They get the spotlight. They get all the attention. And it nearly seems like, as in the story, it's these two wolves constantly battle because, after all, we live on the earth, this planet. And there needs to be someone in control. And when you feed the good or you feed the bad, it doesn't really matter, but that particular entity will always win. And what I've noticed, particularly in the last 10, 15 years or so, is every time you want to do good, positive, wholesome kind of stuff, that there's a chokehold on those particularly who want to do good and those who are doing good. It is as if the good in the world is being squeezed to death. And yet when I look at the people who are doing evil, they're the ones that seem to have free reign and do whatever they please. And it is as if the evil wolf is being fed all this time and energy, and it just gets fed with all the finances and exposure. It just gets being fed and fed and fed. And of course, those who are doing good, it seems like the feeding that they need is being robbed to give to the other. It's an observation. It makes me wonder why. Now, of course, I understand that the good book talks about this kind of activity long before it even took place. Just go read it. It's quite plain. But here's the challenge. Stop feeding one wolf. Notice what happens to it. Or alternatively, feed one wolf more than the other. And notice what happens to that wolf. One doesn't have to be very clever to understand that the one you stop feeding is the one that will eventually die out. Equally, the one that you consistently feed, that is the one that will end up being bigger and stronger and more powerful. It is a simple law. Now here's the thing, my friend. When we look at the media, when we look at social media, when we listen to what's going on in the world and we pay attention, it is very clear which wolf is being fed by these powerful financial institutes. You don't have to be very clever to work out which is the wolf that's going to win. At least in this world. Consider it from another point of view. The thoughts that you keep on telling yourself, which wolf are you feeding? The beliefs that you believe in, which one are you feeding? The way you conduct yourself, which one are you feeding? That you want to achieve in your life, which one are you feeding? The things you look at, which one are you feeding? What you feel in your heart, which one are you feeding? The relationships that you're involved in, and you speak about stuff, normally it comes from the heart, gets processed in your brain, and then filters out through your mouth. Which one are you feeding? The one you feed the most is the one who's going to survive and become strong and more powerful. Pick wise, or pick wisely. And the reasons why you feed that particular wolf in your life. Whether does it sit on this shoulder, or whether does it sit in this shoulder, or do they both occupy your mind, or do they both occupy your heart? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. What matters is simply this. It is your choosing which wolf you feed. It is your choosing which wolf you choose to starve. And what's interesting is simply this, is the one that you feed, when it becomes fully grown, you reap the benefits of the nature of that wolf. And in 10 and 15 years' time, you realize, oh crumbs, I shouldn't have fed the evil wolf. But you fed it. Or equally, you go, thank goodness I fed the good one, because now things seem to work out to your benefit. It is just the way that it is. So you see, there's a saying that it says, the day you plant the seed is not the day you eat the fruit. There's this whole process that takes place. And when you start feeding your wolf, it's not that day that it becomes massive. It becomes massive because of a process of time and energy and choice that you feed. And the wolf becomes stronger and more powerful. And then in 10 years or 10 years, 15 years time or whatever the time might be, and you fed the nasty evil wolf and you start experiencing bad things. It's pointless then saying, oh, crumbs, I don't think that was a good idea. Because ultimately it was your choice. So when we start experiencing things in our lives, it doesn't matter what it is, whether we experience them today or next week, we don't have to deal with the issue there and then. Sometimes we might have to deal with these issues of 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, when the choices was, I could feed this wolf or I could feed that wolf. And in some cases it could be generational. These little traditions and rituals that we employ without even realizing that we're employing them. And then it seems like this wolf goes from generation to generation to generation, and it even becomes even more powerful. It is as if we don't even have to feed it. It is self-fulfilling, it's self-perpetuating as far as its power and influence goes. So my friend, what I want to say to you today is simply this. Be aware that there is a battle going on, not just in you, but in the world and in the spiritual. There's massive battles going on. And we can only experience the results of these battles when we realize the outcome of them, when we start seeing the fruit of the choices that we make. And it doesn't matter where we are in the world, this is something that is universally true. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is simply this. Be aware of the battle. Be aware of the wolf. Be aware that that wolf, one of those two wolves, you have to feed at some point. You choose whether you're going to give it good quality food or whether you're going to give it poor nutritionalness rubbish. You choose whether you're going to starve it. It's your choice. It's your choice. It's your choice. Therefore, my encouragement is this. Choose who you're going to feed today. I nearly quoted a biblical reference there, but choose who you feed. But then also be prepared for the consequence of that choice. When that wolf becomes so powerful and it's there to dominate and it's there to control and it's there to influence, be prepared that when you've chosen to feed the wrong wolf, you'll end up having the wrong result. That takes responsibility, my friend. And that is not always the most fun thing to experience. See, you can't turn around and say, oh, by the way, it is such and so-and-so's fault for me choosing to feed that wolf. Ultimately, you make your own decisions. And in the age of the internet and the age of a lot of knowledge, there's so many places where we can go, so many websites that we can go and have a look at to see what the consequences of our choices will be based on other people's real life experiences. So in a way, the responsibility factor now becomes even greater because there's no escape, because we can't say, I did not know. Yes, and sometimes we don't know because we haven't been bothered to look. And that is sometimes the case. But when we have a choice and we know, and we still choose to feed the wrong wolf, it's interesting to then see who we blame. Only the strong, the responsible, will say, I think I made a mistake. But it's the weak that says, it's your fault. You forced me, or whatever the case might be. That's it for this particular story. Choose which wolf you feed. Be prepared for the outcome. Everything in this world, good and bad, has a consequence. Just be ready for it. Because it will come to us all at some point in the future. It is something that we simply cannot escape. See, for every seed that you plant, something's going to come up. You can't plant an apple seed and expect bananas to come up. It doesn't work like that. You can't feed the bad wolf and expect good things to take place either. Because that's stupid. So all I want to say at this particular point in time, choose wisely. Make the choice with a clear mind. Make the choice with informed choice. And experience and appreciate what the consequences might be. That's all I want to say. I hope you found this video interesting. I hope you found this video challenging. I hope you found it to be reassuring in many ways also. And if it is that you found that you've fed the wrong wolf, go out there and find some advice to see what you can do to start starving that wrong-fed wolf, and then make concerted, real-life efforts to try and feed the proper wolf, the good one, the one that's positive, as in the description in the story. That's it, my friend. Please tell all your friends and family about this channel. Subscribe, share, comment. Do all the YouTube admin as I refer to it as. But for now, this is Mark from Kharischangeworks. I'll speak to you soon.